Hey there, YouTubers. Me again. Who else would it be, right? Me, David. David Essig. YouTuber. You know. Yeah, you know. Anyway, today is going to be Corvette Day. Not the one you think, unfortunately. I had a little accident, and we had some ice. You know, I'm a Florida boy living in Tennessee. We don't get a lot of ice. And I did one of these. Woo! Yeah. Dislocated this old shoulder. Yep, surely did. It's getting better. It's been about 3 weeks now. I did a bunch of piddly stuff. You've probably heard me mention the shoulder in the last couple of videos, just because, you know, I was losing everything. One arm, you know. Today, it's pretty good, right? I can't, you know, I can get up there, but I can't lift anything with it very, you know, up to about here is about all I got. So, with that being said, I can't work on the 76 Stingray because everything's overhead. And it's still pretty painful overhead. So hopefully maybe another week we'll get back on the Stingray, but for today we're still going to do Corvette stuff. I've been meaning to do this job for a while. I was going to wait because the car's running. Right, car runs and drives, just not reliable, and I don't like not reliable, especially for Chevy small block. It should be smooth, yeah. Should be reliable. Probably the most reliable engine on the planet. No offense, Mopar guys, I love my Mopars and I love my AMCs, but when it comes to reliability, Chevy small block with a Quadrajet, it don't get any better than that for reliability. It really doesn't. Maybe on the newer stuff there might be, but I'm not a modern day guy, so I don't know. Anyhow, now my diesel, knock on wood, that Cummins diesel is about as good as it gets too. And I don't want to say that too loud because we don't want to jinx it, but it's a darn good engine too. But when it comes to cars that there's a million of them out there, small block Chevy, right? All right. Not to down anybody else, it's just they're pretty freaking reliable. Can't say nothing about it. Anyhow, this one's nice, which is just tainting the name of old Chevrolet. And so I've decided I'm going to ditch the fuel infection. It's terminal, can't be healed, can't be cut out. Well, it can be cut out, and that's what we're fixing to do. I hate to do it. It's been good for a long time. But if you watch last year's videos on that car, I just about changed everything. And it's still not reliable. It'll run good one day, not good the next. It'll conk you out. Never left me on the side of the road, which is, you know, that's pretty much par for the course when it comes to small block Chevy. It'll start up, you know, no matter what. But whether or not it'll get you down the road more than 3 miles an hour, well, you know. Anyhow. So here's my cure. We're going to cut out the infection, and we're going to replace it with good old school technology. But I don't want to lose my injection altogether. What do you mean by that, Dave? Well, I'm going to tell you. Or should I? Nope, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a hint first. See if you can figure it out. This is a big hint because, you know, it's a big hint. It looks like this. Alright? And it goes like this. Now this particular one is set up for Quadrajet, which is what I plan on using. So, have you figured it out yet? Not yet? Well, this is the rest of it. There's another one here, but this is for a different manifold. And I also have larger, see if I can get one of these out of here. I have another car I plan on doing this to as well, so I'm probably not going to use these big ones. I'm going to save these for the crazy car. But here's another one. Okay? Alright. Now I didn't really want to open this package. This has actually been sitting in my shop for a very long time. But here is the big hint. Have you figured it out yet? Yeah. So we're still going to have injection. Now these are 100 horsepower solenoids. That big one I showed you is up to 500. I'm decided yet. Put it in the comments. You let me know what. I kind of want to do this silver, but I don't have any silver paint left. I'm going to go ahead and get started with silver. It's getting late in the day, so I may just go ahead. I really kind of want to get this painted tonight, but if I have to stop at the store tomorrow and get some silver paint. The only reason I want to go silver is because it'll make it look aluminum. That's kind of the idea. So maybe I get a good base on it tonight, and I'll stop and get some silver paint tomorrow. Can't have too much silver. Supposedly the druggies like silver paint because it gives you a better high. Personally, don't know. I got pretty high off of some red paint when I painted a Cadillac once. Found out my respirator was affected. I figured it out because my house was doing weird things when I sat down. So I figured, yeah, I think maybe this might be defective. It does look nice though, I must admit. I've got a little tiny bit in this one too, but I can't get it to come out. Now I'm going to go searching to see if I can't find some more silver paint kicking around here. But if not, I'll stop at the store in the morning, see if I can't pick some up. So far, it's looking silver. Oh, but I can't. Come on, baby. There we go. Come on. Come on. Come on. A little more. Nah. Not happening. I don't really care about the back so much because you can't see it anyway. Actually, all of this is going to be out of sight because the big air cleaner on this car is going to hide everything, including all the nitrous lines. Of course, the big bottle in the back window is probably going to be a dead giveaway, but it is what it is. Ah! Yep, that one's goner. See if I can get anything to come out of this one. Sometimes you can crush them and you'll get a little more out of them. Let me try that. Whatever you do, don't try this at home. Nope, not going to work. Indicates that maybe this might be the nozzle because the can won't crush, which means it's not empty. Let's try that. Oh yeah! It's the nozzle. Come on, baby. This was good stuff. It's a masterpiece. Barely had anything in either of these cans. That one sounds really empty. But it was enough to get this done. It had a pretty decent coat of orange on there, so I won't even have to stop and buy paint tomorrow. I probably will anyway, just to have some on hand. But I'd like to get home from church pretty fast and get started on putting this on. I'd like to finish this project, this weekend. And it's already the end of Saturday, and I have to wait for the paint to dry. This is pretty clean already, so I'm just going to zing it with a 3M pad to get all the surfaces, gasket surfaces, smoothed out and make sure there's nothing on them to cause problems. And then we're going to actually start to work on the car. This is all the prep before we get to the car. The car is going to be fairly in-depth, because we're working on the C4. There's Crossfire injection. You have to take the top of the manifold off in order to get to the bolts that actually take the manifold off. And it's pretty tight in back of that engine, and I have to get the distributor out. Yay! I think, worst comes to worst, I do have, well, no, that's probably not going to work. I was going to say I've got a Pertronics point system, and I also have a Mallory electronic ignition, Unilite? Yeah, Unilite. That actually belongs to the Stingray, that I can get it in there pretty easy. But I would like to stick with the HEI, because that particular HEI in that car also runs the tach and everything else, and it's got all sorts of other stuff to run the car while the engine runs. We just want to get rid of the fuel infection. I probably could put a regular HEI in there, and I think the tach will still work, because of course the tach plug is the same place on all the HEIs. The stuff on the rear of that is what feeds the computer, which I'm bypassing the computer. So I'm not really sure where we're going to end up with this, whether or not we're going to have to get a different HEI because we're not running the electronics except for the speedometer, which on that car the speedometer is really cool. I'd like to maintain that. And this is still a little tacky. But I'm not going to touch it today anyway. I think I'm going to let this paint have a good... I could make it shiny. I could put a little bit of clear coat on that, and that'd make it really shiny. But we want to make it look like aluminum, and I think we've succeeded in doing that. Of course, I wish it was weighed what aluminum weighs, because, the old shoulder's going to give me fits trying to put it on there. The cool thing about it is the hood comes up and gets pretty much out of the way, and I can sit right on the front tire and put this intake on. So I don't think we're going to run into too much trouble with the old injury. Plus, I'm healing pretty darn good. I just can't really lift much weight up past my shoulders. So we don't even have to get there, I don't think, on this. So anyway, I'm going to close up the shop for today. And tomorrow, right after church, we're going to clean up the gasket surfaces on here. We're going to get the car back down to earth because she's up on a lift, and pull the intake off of that. Sad to see that go. I think the Crossfire injection is very cool. I did have a YouTuber make a comment saying, well, if you're going to do that, why don't you get a cross-ram carbureted intake? And that day may come. But for now, because I want to go this route, I only have single carburetor stuff right now. Now, if I go with a cross-ram, we can work that out. But again, I was doing this for reliability. I want to get in this car and be able to drive. I want to be able to get in this car, go to Florida. I want to get in this car and go. I don't know if I ever want to go anywhere else, but if I want to go there, I can go and not worry about it. And it's not exactly the most comfortable. It's pretty comfy, but where are you going to put your luggage, right? If I got a big old nitrous bottle in the back seat, where am I going to put the luggage? Well, there's no back seat, but where the back, in the hatch. So, probably not a practical car to take a big trip in, but I do want to be able to, drive to Pigeon Forge, which is about, I'm going to say 80 to 100 miles from here. Yeah, a good 100 miles from here, and take it to the rod run or something, or if I want to take it to one of the shows they have in Lebanon, which is also another 100 miles. Or I could take it to the Good Guys show that's in Nashville, and that's a little over 100 miles. So I want this car reliable where I can throw in, some tools or something in the back, or just, some overnight stuff so I can stay in a hotel, jump in this car and go to a show and not worry about it. I want the dependability of the old school Chevy small block. And we're there, except for the fuel infection's a little bit finicky on these old 80s, or especially the first 2 years of it. It was not reliable the day they made it. So I was all proud of mine because I'm like, I've got Crossfire and it works great. Not anymore. But it did work great for 270,000 miles. It's done its bidding, right? So hopefully this will dry by morning. I'm sure it will because it's still a little tacky, but it's almost dry now. Yep. Okay. No, it's pretty dry. So by morning it should be great. We'll scrape off the paint on the areas that shouldn't have paint, and we'll hit it with a little 3M pad, clean that up, get the car down to earth, get the old intake off, hopefully get this one back on. My goal is to get it running tomorrow before I quit. Not necessarily get the nitrous all set up. We'll have the plate in there, but I don't plan on getting the nitrous set up just yet because it's going to take time to run the line and blah, 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 blah. So just to get it running this weekend, and next weekend we'll finish the nitrous, and then we'll play with the old button, right? See how much more. This will be a 100 shot we're going to try out first. If I want more, I got more. And I haven't decided with the Gremlin just how wild and crazy we're going to get with the Gremlin. I'm pretty sure more horsepower on the Gremlin is just going to make more tire smoke. I think if I add more juice to this car, she's a bit heavier and she's got a whole bunch of rubber on the back. So I think we're probably going to go with bigger solenoids on this one. Pretty sure we're going to go with the bigger solenoids on this one. We'll play that when we do the nitrous video. But for now, we're going to try to get this on in the morning, well, after church, and then get this baby running. So I'll see you in the morning. Before I start, I'm going to start the car. Reason being is this car hasn't run for a couple of weeks now. I want to start it up, get some oil running through the system before I go ahead and pull this intake off. Why? Because if I have any troubles, so I am using an old carburetor. I'm not going out and buying a brand new one. And I'm going to use an old Quadrajet I pulled off a junk truck. It looks good, so we're just going to go. Nothing was froze up on it, so I'm hoping it'll work. Doesn't, we'll rebuild it. It's not a big deal. But if I end up cranking on this for a little bit before she starts, I wanted to make sure I've got good oil pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and run it just for a few minutes, and that will allow me to get some oil up in the system, and that way when we get to working on it, if it takes a little while, if we end up getting delayed because no gasket or missing something, I know that I've got good oil pressure and ready to, when I start cranking on it, I'm going to have immediate oil pressure. So that's the only reason behind it, but I'm just going to go ahead and start the car before we start. Does that make sense? Start before we start. How can you start before you start? Anyway, we're going to run the car. How much I'm going to have to modify it. So you won't
have a lot of ways of indexing this without the hat. With the hat, I can index it quite well, but a lot of this, which I can index it off of, is going to change. So there's not going to be this, I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, this doohickey. And this hose may or may not be in a different position. I'm going to try to reuse the hose so it should be in the same position, but this is kind of where we're at. I do plan on utilizing the air filter. So in order to get all of this off of here, from what I am seeing, yep, is I've got to take this whole apparatus out of here. Also, this right here, your distributor, it's got a little plastic rubberized sealing lip right here, which you probably can't see real well, but we'll get to that later. I may have to take that off of there to gain some space, because it gives me quite a bit more space if I take this rubber piece off of here. And I don't, doesn't look like fun because there's a bunch of crap attached to it, but it is what it is, and you know, if that's all it's going to take to get the distributor out, that's fine. So I'm going to start taking all of this apart. I don't know if I'm able to take this. Actually, before I do anything, I'm going to mark these wires, because I've got to get this distributor cap out of the way. So I'm only going to take the ones off of this side, and then I'm just going to go boop, and I'm going to flop this distributor cap just over. But I'm going to go ahead and mark each wire, what number they are, and that way I don't get lost. You know what I mean? Basically, I'm just going to trace the wire, see where it goes, which is not necessarily an easy task with this car. Come on, little girl. There we go. And I'm going to have to get a light. Can't see nothing. Alright, one by one, I've been tracing these. And on this one here, it's number 2. So I'm just going to wrap it around that wire. And I like to just make it like a tag, like that. And I can pull this off, and that one doesn't matter anymore. And I'm just going to do the same thing for all the other ones. I'm going to mark it, take it off, and then I'm going to take the cap off, and we're just going to try to hopefully just kind of throw her over here out of the way. That's the plan anyway. I got them all marked. I didn't mark these because I don't plan on taking those off. That does not mean I may not mark them. I may end up marking them anyway, just simply because if I have to take them off to get the distributor out of the way, or if they come off on their own, I may go ahead and mark them just so. Okay, oops, I almost messed up. This particular cap, you have to, kind of got ahead of myself already. You have to take this little cover off and take the distributor out first. If you don't take the distributor out, the coil. Let's try that again. If you don't take the coil out first, you will break the little nub that goes on the rotor. So let me do that. I almost forgot. That would have been bad.
Happened. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a was just a boy. Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Should be pointing right to that spot when we reinstall it. Now it's going to turn a little bit as we take it out because it's going to because it's engaged with the camshaft, okay? And so it's going to turn a little bit as it's coming up, but once it also orients into the oil pump, which is always the fun part. The good thing about a Chevrolet is you can, and I like to do this, and we'll show you this when I install it back, when I put it back in, but you can put it in, and if it doesn't exactly line up with the oil pump slot, but if we don't move anything, it should. But if for whatever reason it does not, you can always just kind of bump the engine until it falls, because the slot's going to be 180 or right on, and it's just a slot, like a screwdriver. So we'll be able to just kind of put some pressure downward on this. Once we get it all the way down to where it's touching that, as long as it's engaged to this position or close to it on the cam, we can bump the engine until this falls down in. And that's, but we have to make sure we're going to be there on the rotor when it all is said and done. So technically we're going to be a little before it engages. So anyway, we'll explain all that, or I'll explain all that. I got a mouse in my pocket. I'll explain all that when we finally get that far. I've got to get all of this off of here so that I can get at the bolts to take the manifold off. There are a couple of them visible. There's one right there, and there's one right there. So there's a couple I can get at, and we can go ahead and get those. I'd like, maybe I'll, this stupid thing's in the way, isn't it? Man, we can get around it if I have to, but I think life would be better if I took it out of there. What is it? 1, 2, 2. I think it's just 2 bolts. I do believe so. One there and there. I think we'll take that bad boy off of there, and that will be. What do we got going on here? There's more lines and goofy stuff. We're going to get rid of all of that because we're not going to be running fuel injection anymore. We're going to simplify this engine. So I think at this point we get this out of the way. That'll allow me to get those 2 bolts. It'll allow me to get this hose. And I think I might as well get into it and find out if I'm going to have to move this rubber piece or if I'm going to be able to get that distributor. Oh yeah, I did say I was going to take the rotor off too. It gives me that much more room. See, people, a lot of you watch these videos, and if we don't film everything, you have no concept of how long this can take. I did have a miss in this car, and I found out what it was. Spark plug on number 8 here was not even, it wasn't even connected. The boot was just dangling. I don't know how that happened, but I must have knocked it off somewhere along the line, or it vibrated, I don't know. But anyway, that's the reason I was getting that farty miss on it. And how it was ever firing, I don't know. Maybe it was just dumping. on the valve cover because obviously we're taking this off. Got this all unplugged, which this is going back in, so hopefully this will be, well, wait a minute, where is this going? Uh-oh. There should be a plug, here we go. Now we're going to have to get this plug off of here because this ain't going to come out without moving this plug. So, let's see what we got. It's just a lifty thingy here, I think. Nope, maybe not. Well, I'll be dipped. I can't see nothing. So let's get a flashing light. I'm going to try to do it from over here because if I go over there, I'm going to block y'all's. Well, you probably can't see it anyway. I think we just push it. Oh, jeez. I'm going to have to go over there and get in y'all's way. Oh, I can see it so much better now. It is short. The wiring, it's not going to be nice to me. And I think we just come over here without my glasses. That was brilliant, David. Uh-oh, I turned the distributor. I do not see. I don't have to get. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, that was easy enough. Okay, it's just got a little pull tab right here. Didn't look like a pull tab, but it looks like she's loose. So there we go. She's coming right out. Oh, that's awesome. Came out without incident. I was a little worried about that. I'm not going to lie, getting the bolt out was a humdinger. Not necessarily because it was hard to do, but because for whatever reason my tool was missing. And I don't know where it went. So, that being said, I had a little trouble. I think what I'm going to do is what is going on there? That's all my fuel system. That is just, oh, boogered up in there. What the heck is all that? Some kind of something. I don't know where it's going. It looks like a fuel canister, but I ain't messing with it. We're just going to leave it in there. Although it looks like, nope, it's not going in. Oh, I think it's oil. I think it's my oil gauge. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. Geez, it's so cruddy I can't tell, but it's my oil gauge, which does work. Oil pressure gauge. So, okay, great, fantastic, wonderful. This is all in here. These are alright, I guess. I don't like the fact that they're routed around the oil sending unit, but it is what it is. I'm going to switch tools because a pneumatic will be quite a bit faster. I'm going to have to take the BS pump off of here in order to get to this bolt right here. So that's going to be fun. But we should just be able to pull this upward, slide this off of here. That made easy work of that. I'd love to just remove the BS pump because I don't really need it. But I'd have to make a bracket because it is part of the alternator bracket. So unless I wanted to go old school on the bracket, but I don't think I'm going to, and that way I can still use a stock belt. I just hate these stupid BS pumps. They're BS. You know what I mean? And I hope you don't find BS offensive. I don't mean it to be, but it's really kind of the best word or abbreviation. It's baloney, but that sounds like food, right? So we got a bolt right here. Oh, crap-a-loodles. And that bolt is behind the pulley, so I have to take the pulley off. Yay! Okay, Chevrolet, I don't know what you were thinking in 1984, but you weren't thinking. That's That's just stupid, having to take the bolts off of the pump. But we're in it now. And I think I remember doing this on the other one. Ooh, and that's metric. Of course that's metric. Why wouldn't it be? But I came prepared. I have 10 M&Ms right here. Look at that. Woo, baby. I knew it. I knew I was going to need metric sooner or later. This car is combination metric and SAE. A lot of your 80s cars are. And that's the sucky thing about it. Oh, that sucked. Talk about sucky things. That went into the abyss, probably never to be seen again. Although I think I did hear it here. It hit. Thought I heard it hit the plastic on the lift. So I have it on the lift, believe it or not. Okay, come on. Doesn't want to come off. Screwed up driver. I need a screwed up driver. Got one right here. You don't have to go far in this neighborhood. Come on, baby. Ding! Alright. Another one bites the dust. Ooh, that could use a little paint. Alright, anyway. Now I'm going to have to figure out, unless there's a way to bolt this in, I'm going to have to figure something out. We're going to have a little fabricating before we finish this job. I'll tell you that right now. But anyhow, let's see if we can't get this intake off before I have to quit today. There we go. We are just moving, ever so slowly. We are moving, ever so slow. Yep. Well, we're gonna have to get a little shorty extension. Of course, it's leaning way over the tire. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Oh my goodness. Heavens to Murgatroyd! And now, I believe there's two, one on each side, and it's threaded here and here. I think. I do believe. I do believe! I believe I can fly. Uh-oh. I believe I can touch the sky. What the heck is going on here now? Oh my goodness, and heavens to Murgatroyd, Batman. This one is 15 mil. The bottom one was 9/16, but the top one is 15 mil. You gotta love the 80s. Gotta. You just gotta. You had to have a full set of metric and a full set of SAE. And believe it or not, considering the fact that I actually started business back when I had a shop. I actually started my business in the 80s. And over time, my metric set has, diminished. But I have just recently gone shopping. So I was, had sockets missing in the metric world. Because for years and years, I didn't use any metrics. I went out of business, and I stopped using, I stopped working on anything but hot rods. And little did I know I'd be buying later model hot rods. So, all right. Now, if I can just get this. There we go. She's out of the way. We're good, Alice. Let's get to work now. All right. Gonna yank the intake, which I'm not really sure why, because I'm gonna have to stop here soon. And if I yank the intake, I'm gonna expose the engine. But it won't hurt to take a look inside and see what she's looking like in there anyway. That's in the way. All right. So here is the grand finale, which really is spelt finally. And we're gonna try not to drop anything into the abyss on this one. Fortunately, this socket holds on to things very, very tight. A little bit of Earl in that one. That's good. It means we got oil system going pretty good here. That's the way, I like it, that's the way, Ooh, that one was loose. I don't like the way that felt. It's short. Maybe not. Whoa, that one was like, I may have loosened those earlier. Duh. Alright, what's the last one? That one's got a nut on it. And then a ground, which doesn't seem to be attached. Oh, great. What the heck? It's always got to be one. This is a... What the heck is that all about? It's a bracket to a... something. Gotta be kidding me, right? Jack Criminy. We're going to see if we can't just pry that bad boy. Actually, it looks like I can. It's got a slot in it. Well, let's do this so I can see what I'm doing. All right. Yep, there we go. Come on. Get away. Get away. If you draw blood, it's a good sign. Okay, I got that off of there. It's another useless fastener. There we go. See if we can get this on here. Look at that. Oh, no, don't fall. Don't fall. There we go. Fortunately, lights are flickering. Fortunately, that socket, that's going in there. Don't go in there. Wanting to go down in the plenum. We don't need that. I should have to go all the way over there to get in the engine, but that's all right. We don't want to take any chances. Come on, get out of my way. All right. We are almost done today, my friend. And it's even got the little doohickey for pulling the engine out. Look at that. But we're not pulling the engine out, so we don't need it. But we do keep those around for when we do pull engines. All right. Whew. Now the question is, how much effort's it going to take to get this thing out of here? Can I pry on this valve cover without breaking stuff? Oh yeah. I know, it sounded like I broke something. Ah! But I didn't, honest. I don't think. Just broke the seal. Oh yeah. By Jove, I think we've got it. So I think I've still got that wounded wing, which is going to make this a little more difficult. Oh, shoot. Please tell me that is not going into the engine. Okay, it's going into the engine. So much for that. We'll have to put an oil change in this baby before we... What the heck? Get out of there. Okay. There we go. Okay, took a bath. I apologize. I didn't get as far as I would like to. I wanted to at least get the new intake on today just to protect inside the engine instead of using rags. Now I got two. Here's the 76 up above my head. That one's the same way. We're going to have to wait till next weekend. I'm hoping, I think I've got a couple of smaller videos that I can air before this so we can actually do start to finish on this. So this may or may not be an in video. Good morning. Or is it afternoon? I think it's slightly afternoon. Just got out of church. It is the next week from when we started this video. Pardon me. I had to pick up some parts and it was getting late, so I decided I had some other videos I could download. So I said, let's see if we can't finish this one up before I end the video. I hate doing cliffhangers, you know. Get halfway done, say, sorry, gotta end it here, see you next week. And I guess that's okay if that's all I can get done, but because I had a little footage, I thought we'd just try to finish this video. I'm not necessarily going to plan on, although it may happen, I don't necessarily plan on getting the nitrous completely in, but it will be semi-plumbed, at least under the hood, so that I can, you know, just finish it up another day, maybe. Or if we have time, we'll finish it up completely this weekend. But anyway, I got to show you what's up next. I got to compare the two intake manifolds because we're changing the intake. And the new manifold doesn't have some stuff that we need. It's got a couple of things. One, we're going to have to, I don't know, we'll figure that out as we go. The other one I'm going to show you right now. Here's the new one. Here's the old one. There's a problem. Here is my water temperature sending unit. Goes right here. And if you notice right above it, on this one, there's two places to mount the alternator bracket. Nothing, right? Don't have any of that. Now, I am not going to go cutting into this water jacket for an alternator bracket. Not going to do it. I mean, I could just put some Permatex on the bolt, and that will work. But these are dead straight in, and this is curved, and I don't want to open that can of worms. So we're going to have to make a bracket that's going to have to break, you know, it'll come over the top of these, and I'll make a bracket. That's not a big deal. But this is a big deal. Now, I wouldn't care if there was someplace else I could put it, but there isn't. So it's going to go, I think this little spot right here is perfect. I opened this up, and this is the actual, you know, spout off of this one. So that's good that we can make that work. And take this out of here, gently, gently, because it's still good. And I put my finger in here, and that is a really good spot. Now, I can put it here as well, but right here, there's a support going right here from this bolt to keep this bolt from going into the jacket. So if I put it here, there's all sorts of stuff going to get hit right there. If I put it here, it's good and thick, and there's nothing there. So we are going to put this right here. I really like this spot, but the more I look at it, it's probably not ideal because this wall is pretty thick here, and then there's another wall right here. So what I'm afraid is going to happen is I'm afraid I'm going to get into this wall here, and I'll be drilling on that wall. And then when I get into the sensor, it's going to be, part of the sensor is going to be on that wall. So, that being said, I think I'm going to put it here. There's nothing at all back there. Nothing that's going to bother me. The only problem is there is going to have to be a bracket right about here. As you can, I don't know if you can see this one. Yeah, you can. But on this one, there's a bracket here, and that
supports the alternator. It actually, the BS pump actually connects to that, but which also supports the alternator. So I got to put the stupid BS pump back in. So I'm going to have to build a bracket. But I figured when I put this in here, it's not going to be, the BS bracket's going to be out here and right about here, so it's not going to interfere at all. The only problem I might run into is wiring. My wiring may not go that far because it was here, and now it's going to have to go over here. So that extra inch or two may make it, you know, so it doesn't, I may have to extend a wire. Woo, that's not so bad, right? Now, I don't understand what's going on. I'm guessing because this is one of those Harbor Freight deals. It's marked 3/8/18, and it's perfect for this, okay? And I had to buy a whole set just to get this one, but it wasn't too horrible. One tap like this, a real good quality one, a tap like this will probably run you 60, 70 bucks. And it was only 60 bucks for the whole kit, which has like huge ones that I'll never use. But it is what it is. Anyhow, I'm going to use this. It's going to go here, I believe, is what my plan is. And we're going to put this in there. I didn't get any Teflon tape, but I can use Permatex on this. I guess that's my plan. You know, whether it's a good one or not, I don't know. I did think about putting it in the thermostat housing, which I've seen that, but then it's on the radiator side, and I won't know how hot the engine's getting. And if the thermostat doesn't open and allow the radiator to feed it, it's not going to tell me how hot the engine's getting. So, bad idea. Bad idea. So, I'm going to go ahead and put it here. And that's going to be tippy. Great. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to put a divot right there. All right. Now, I'm going to be pushing on this drill. And we don't need this going on. So, I'm going to go ahead and put a clamp right here. And that ought to, yeah, make things worse. That's awesome. Nope, it's not. Okay, but we're going to put a clamp here to keep things from dancing around. All right. There we go. Proof is in the pudding. Woohoo! Talk about straight through. All right. Now I could just go right to the 1/2 inch, but I think I want to step it up one more before I do that. I'm going to jump to the next size, which is about that size. Let's go ahead and slow this thing down. Here we go. Now, for the big honcho. This is scaring me a little bit, and I'll tell you why. Because all my paperwork, this tap says it's a 3/8/18. I'm thinking this is wrong. And I'm not going to, I don't know. Because if I look up a 3/8/18 on my chart, it tells me I'm supposed to run a 431 drill. It's 431 thousandths. When I measure this, it starts out at 530 on the inside of the thread. So 430 is 100 thousandths into the inside of the thread. That just doesn't compute. I can't even get the tip of my tap into 400 thousandths, 430 thousandths. So I'm going with a 1/2. I'm at about 375 right now, and I'm not even close. So, that being said, now I am going to put a little bit of Earl, just a little bit, to lubricate this drill. A little bit of Earl will lubricate the drill, makes the drill last longer, makes it cut better. I don't really know how, it just does. So, and this is a big kahuna of a drill. So, ready? I'm not. Ow. Alright. Boy, that's scary because, you know, I can see inside there now. That's a water jacket! So, let's see. Well, it's not that scary when everything's working the way it's supposed to. Here's the problem. I still can't get this tap in that hole. So, because I do not have a drill, I have the 1/2 inch is the biggest I have until I get to 9/16, which is too big. So, yay. I'm going to have to find another way to hog that out. Here's my answer, a step drill. The first one there is right at just under 500. Then the next step is 550, which is still about 10 thousandths shorter than that smaller than I need, but it should cut a slightly bigger hole. So we're going to go ahead and run this one and see what happens. We're going to go to the very next step. If I go past it, oh boy, we are in trouble. Normally I run strep drills. Yeah, strep drills. Step drills pretty fast, but in this case, we want to go slow because we do not want to go past that second step. Oh yeah, we don't want to go any further than that. Okay, so we're just inside there. This is not going in there, right? Better not. Okay, perfect. All right, that is a little scary. And now that I mention it, I didn't measure this to make sure it was a pipe tap. I just assumed. Let's see, this is 620 starting and only 630 at the top. So we have to be really careful. 615 right there at the beginning. Wow, that's not very. Yeah, 616, 618 at the top. Oh no, 650. So that's quite a bit. Okay, but we still can't. We have to be real careful not to tap into this too far. That's for darn sure. So we'll get her started. I'm going to have to find a square socket to fit that. Alright, I've got a socket that's going to fit. And we're going to have to be real careful with this, not to tip it or turn it or make it go funky ways. Just start that tap in. It's cutting very nicely. Cast iron's not hard to cut. Even though this is an El Cheapo tap, it's more than adequate for this particular job. And since most of the stuff I work on is along these lines, alright, that's about as far as I'm going to go. I'm going to pull it back out, and we'll try the sending unit and see where we're at. And we'll just keep pecking at it like that and get these shavings out of the way. Come on. My guess is it's just barely starting to thread as it is. Or I've got it cross-threaded, one or the other. I'd say that's probably good right there. So it's not going in yet, so let's keep going with the tap. remember, there's only about 30 thousandths between engagement and full engagement on this particular sending unit, so we need to be very careful that I'm not cross-threaded or something in here. And that we're come on. There we go. She's still barely starting. Because it's brass, so it makes me a little nervous, but there's a... It does seem like I'm engaged. So we still got a little ways to go. Okay. Now there's not going to be any pressure on this, so I'm not too worried about it, but you don't want, I mean, there's going to be 15 or 18 pounds of pressure on it. That's not a whole lot. Just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to measure the tap about halfway up, and that's going to be 640, about halfway up, 630, whereas this is roughly 620. I should be, because this is 630 all the way up there, so I should technically, I'm just going to run the tap back up in there a little bit, because halfway in I should be well within the, it should be going in, let's put it that way, it should be going in. Come on, and I'm having a hard time even getting the tap started now. I switched sides, that's why. I'm not as talented on this side. Golly. Here we go. Alright. That's what I'm afraid is happening with the... Well, we're not quite halfway up the tap, though, that's why. So we'll go in a few more threads and see where we're at. But not too many more. I don't care if the sending unit goes all the way in, that's fine. Alright, I don't think I want to go any further than that. There we go. She's still barely in there. I've only caught maybe 2 or 3 threads by the looks of things. Yep. Okay, well, we'll go in a few more. Wait a minute, before I do that, I'm going to gently, I want to gently turn this inward just in case, because it does look like there's a little burr on this. There we go. So I'm going to turn it just a couple of turns and see how many it'll go, but I'm not going to push hardly at all. I'm scared. Alright, she's snugging up, so I'm okay. She's threading in pretty easy. Doesn't feel like it's cross-threading. So we'll just keep going. It's always better to creep up on it like this than to go too far and beyond the no return, if you know what I mean. We're actually just barely coming through on the other side. That's what the problem is it may be in quite a bit up here. Alright, let's try that. But it's barely through on the back side. This is a pretty thick piece of metal. And that's probably my problem, and why it looks like I'm going really deep here, but we're dealing with probably a 1/4 inch of iron here. It doesn't look thick from here, but it really is. There we go. Now we're cooking with real butter. All right. That's really good right there. I think I might. Yep, it's just starting to come through on the other side. I'm going to leave it right there. I don't want to push our luck, you know what I mean? But that's perfect right there. I got to clean it off. I'm going to put a little bit of Permetex on there. And then we'll, yeah, that's perfect. I would, I'm a perfectionist. I'd like to screw her all the way in there, but the odds of getting my threads perfect is probably, I'm running the risk of screwing up. I ain't going to do that because I screw up all the time. You may or may not have noticed that I messed up my paint job a little trying to clean this off. And I did go buy some more paint, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I tried to spray it and nothing comes out. I'm like, that's great. I got a brand new can of paint and it doesn't work. So I'm going to put a little bit of Permetex on here. This is the RTV Black. I don't know which one's better. They got like 9,000 different flavors, and I don't, as long as it seals, I don't care. I've always used black. I've used red a few times, and this, if it's going to be in a hot spot, this is not really a hot spot. This is, this is going to be 100 and, well, this one 235. This car turns on the fans at 235. I don't know why it wants to be so hot. It just does. So maybe that had something to do with the fuel infection, but I don't know. So I'm just going to put this in here. I'd prefer to use Teflon tape, but Teflon tape can cause the metal to spread a little more, and then you'll end up with cracking the casting, which we don't want to do that either. So I'm just snugging this baby up. I think that's probably more than adequate. And that puts my little release tabby, puts it right at the top, so it'll be easy to get off. If the time being, no, if the need occurs, yeah, that's the words I'm looking for, that if the need occurs. So that's that one. Now I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to put the thermostat on there. And then I think I'm going to wait to put the carburetor on. I do need to put a nipple back here for the brake booster. I think I can steal that off of the other piece of the intake.
put some in the corners right off the bat. I mean, just blob it in there. And I'll save the rest of the China wall for after I get the gaskets in. But I do like to put a blob right there. All right. And this is, I don't know, Optimum Max Flex gasket maker and oil resistant. I don't know. They told me it was the best. Yeah. I usually just buy what's on sale, but I've had some stuff be really funky, so changed my mind on that. Sometimes the cheaper is not always a good idea. All right. Now, if you'll notice, it says this side up right there, right? Right here. So we're going to put that side up. So we're going to test it, make sure that's going to fit like that, no problem. I see no problem. All right, and I'm always going to put some gasket maker around these ports and around this port. And I am going to put this little block off plate in here because I don't really want heat going through my exhaust manifold. If I drove it in the winter, through my intake manifold, if I was driving it in the winter, yeah, I'd probably want that, but I don't. You know, this is a summer car. I can drive it in the winter, but I don't really take my hot rods out in the summer. In the winter, so I just prefer to. Now, I don't blob my gaskets on, my gasket maker. I tend to just start it going, get it some to come out, and then I just spread it around. And now you probably can't see this because this is the one that the back is turned. But I'm basically just putting gasket maker around this area, this area, this area. You'll be able to see it in a minute. What I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to stop talking. And I'm just going to do it. And you will be able to see me do it in super fast. I'm really just that fast. I'm just going to go into Superman mode and go into super hyper fast. And, I'm just going to fast forward it. Because there's no point in sitting here watching,
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on that tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, got some egos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on that tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.
ones. So that's where we're at right now. I'm gonna just put this big one in the place of this little one. And let's see, it says out, in. So it's going out. We want it to go that way, right? So why did they do that? I've got them backwards, that's why. Does it matter which one we put where? Uh-oh. Dilemma. Which one of these is fuel and which one of these is nitrous? Does it matter which one is fuel and which one is nitrous? Let us examine things further. I'm going to unscrew it from here. There we go. Take this bad boy off of here. Doo-doo. Oh, that one's not going to go easy. There we go. Alright. Wrapping up the wires a little bit there. Okay, we're going to save those for the Gremlin, because the Gremlin's going to get a 100 horsepower shot as well. Now, should I use Teflon tape, which I don't have? Great. I do need Teflon tape, though. Dang it. I did have some left. Whew. For a minute there, I thought I was Teflon tape less. Now, the object of Teflon tape is for it to tighten as you screw something on. And I did it exactly wrong. Okay, then. So when I start to screw this one on, it's going to take it off, just like that. Let me try that again. Let me show you the wrong way how to do things. And it really sucks when you drop the roll and it unravels everything you just did. Alright. I do need to buy some more of this. I think this is my last roll. I thought I used the last roll before. Thank God I didn't. Okay. Now, this one, fortunately, you know, this is on here. So, we're going to put this one in. What is that? Oh, that's the elastic band. Check that out. The elastic band just, it's been sitting in my shop so long, the elastic band turned into, I don't know what that is. Alright, anyway, says out. Come on, baby. Come on, baby, light my fire. There we go. It lit my fire. Look at that. I don't know if I'm going to get a whole nother turn out of that, so I don't want to over tighten. I think we're going to leave it there. That Teflon tape on there, it should be fine and dapper Dan. So let's take these plugs out of here. That's the out button. Come on, go that way. There you go. Come on. Come on, baby, light my fire. There we go. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, set my life on fire. All right.
guess we'll just tighten this up as necessary, because I didn't like that one. Now it's upside down. That's no good. But we can turn it this way. Come on. I need another 7/16. Hang on. I love it when I change my mind about things, and we're going to have to loosen these two. Here we go. Now I can turn this where I want it. And tighten these. Come on now. Alrighty. We'll be able to tighten these better once they're on the car. That's pretty much where we're at, though. Not too bad, right? Alright. Now, we did have this nipple on this other one. Do we want to use that again? I've got an inline filter I planned on using for this, but this is going to be for the main fuel. We may want a little extra. It's not a bad idea. Let me see if I've got a new one of these kicking around, and if not, we'll put that old one back on. Well, plugged solid. We won't be using that. Here's a bit of information I didn't know. The outlet, or the inlet actually, for the nitrous is bigger than the inlet for the fuel. So I just made this fitting since I can't use that filter. I may replace this with one of these. I don't have one right now. So, heck with that. But that one was plug solid, so we ain't using that. So we have this one, and then I have this fitting that came with the kit. That will go. Now these are pipe taps, so we're going to put some Teflon tape on these. And then this, being the nitrous line, going to go here. For whatever reason, they didn't make this one pretty. It goes, you know, whatever. I don't know which one I want to put on the bottle. Pretty one maybe, because who's going to see under the hood, right? So we'll put the pretty end on the bottle, I reckon. But let's go ahead and get these hooked up. Get the Teflon tape on there. Why did I close this up? I don't know. Things I do. The way I do the things I do. I don't know why I do the things that I do. I just do. Now, this is how I'm used to doing it. Here we go. Cramp in the old hand. I hate when that happens. So we're going to go here. Alright. And we need to do this one. I don't know why this one's like off camera for whatever reason. My camera angles must be weird. My hands are cramping. They're a little bit cold. It's not bad out. It's like 50. Maybe not quite that yet. But for whatever reason, my hands cramp up in the winter. Sucks bananas, let me tell you. And I managed to work through it somehow, some way. Because my love for cars and God and country. Yeah, that's it. My love for the automotive world and seems to override my common sense. So anyway. I know watching me tighten this up is riveting. We're going to have to come up with some form of way to split the fuel off, because one nozzle is going to go to the carburetor. The other one's going to go to here.
you know. So, all right, now we just got to tighten this one up, which is what size? This is 11/16. I guarantee it's smaller. It's probably 5/8. So 5/8. All right. Yep, 5/8. Come on, baby. Come on, baby, light my fire. Now, what I'm seeing here is my nitrous is going to be on the driver's side. And I think that's okay, because that's pretty much, well, I think the fuel lines run down the other way. I may want to switch that around. That shouldn't be too big a deal. Now should it? We'll set it on the car, see how this goes, because we've got linkages and all sorts of crap that's got to go here. So I think we're going to end up switching these to the other side. Dang it. Let me go test fit it real quick. Okay, when you weren't looking, I fixed it. Duh, stupid me. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but right here, it says fuel. Right here, it says nitrous, or N2O. So they do have to go in specific sides. That has to be the nitrous, this has to be the fuel. And I did switch it to the passenger side of the car because that's the way it's got to be. Because over here it's going to get in the way of the linkages. In fact, we can go ahead and get a quick look-see by setting this on here. We're going to have to get this fuel. That actually works out pretty good because I got my fuel, both my fuel lines coming in the same area. And then this has to go on here. That is going to get in the way, at least with the current line that's on there. So we're going to have to shoot a line out straight that way. Or up and over, one or the other. That looks pretty funky, doesn't it? We don't want that. That actually looks... if it went straight down, it'd be okay. But that's how she's going to go. Over here, well, it'd probably be okay, but this cables and everything got to go. This bracket has to go on here, like so. And I'm pretty sure that was going to hit it. You know what I'm saying? So this has to, it's good the way it is. We'll have to get a straighter fuel line coming out of there. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this regulator. I'm going to have to put, oh, let's go ahead and do that while we're waiting, or while we're looking. This is going to be in line. I'm going to use this fuel gauge somewhere. I don't have a whole lot of room, so I'm going to probably have to come out of here and then over somehow, some way. We'll figure that out. Probably straighten this line out a little bit. And I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go, because on the car it'll be a lot easier to figure out where stuff's got to go. But let's take this off of here, get back into my bucket of parts. We have to have one for here. This is where the fuel goes in. If you look, well, that says Holly. Oh, and then we have the bracket. So I think this one might free float because there's nowhere that I could find to put the bracket. So let me get some fittings.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
Before I go any further, I want to go ahead and get this distributor in. Now, the secret to the distributor is you have to kind of turn it. Here's the mark I made. You got to turn it before the mark so that when it's in place, it'll be on the mark, if that makes any sense at all. So we're going to bring her down. Come on, baby. There we go. And this may or may not. This cable is a pain in my butt. Oop, I went the wrong way. My bad. We got to go this way. Okay. And this needs to be pointed there, so I'm off a tooth. Oh, too far. There we go. This has to be here, so I'm still off a tooth, but the fact that it's down all the way says to me that that's where the oil pump is sitting right now. Okay, I just felt it snap down. You can feel it when it went in. Now, usually if that's not lined up perfectly with the oil pump, then you have to kind of finagle. But this time, she went right in. Everything looks good. She's lined up the way she was before we got started. So now it's just a matter of putting everything back together. I am just about out of time, and I wanted to get the fuel system in, and it looks like I'm probably not going to. But we're going to try real hard for the few minutes I've got left. I'm going to put this fuel line on here. I think that will. Let's go up here. I don't know if that's as far as I can get or not, but I think it's far enough. Yeah, for whatever reason it doesn't want to go any further than that. So I'm not going to force it. Could be rubbing up against the other line in there. I'm not going to pull it back out to find out. I still have tons to do, unfortunately, but I did want to at least get everything lined up where it's going to be. And at least get a look at what I'm working on. You know? It's going to be... It looked like I had a bunch of space to work with, but now it's starting to look like maybe I don't. But what is it going on here? It is craziness. Alright, there's my nitrous plate. And now, we're going to see if we can't get this carburetor in there. Probably should have left. Crap. But I think that's going to be in the way too. Yep, I'm going to have to take that line off. I should have known better than to do that. Let's try it again with less crap on the carburetor. There we go. Much better. Alright. I got one of the bolts still on here, so let's see if I can't get it to line up. Well, I just boogered everything up now. It ain't going to line up for diddly doodah now. Golly. Diddly doodah, that's an actual term. maybe you should get one of these smaller ones in here first. Golly, Charlie Brown. Nothing's lined up now. Where's that? Now I know why people use studs. That's a much, much better idea. So, see if I can't get this to line up. There we go. Oops, upside down. I don't like using studs because they're usually fine thread on the top, and if you lose a bolt, you're lost forever. But in this case, it's the only way we're going to get all this lined up. Plus, I need longer bolts anyway. So, here we go. Once again, I'm hooked up on something. Here we go. There. Ta-da! And then we're semi-lined up. I think we might go over on this one. We don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. That's as far as I'm going to get today. I don't know if this is going to go far enough to go in. Oh, it might. Yep, I don't have to get new bolts. That's good. Got a couple of washers right here. I don't know if I've got these in far enough. So we either... There we go. I'm just going to leave everything loose for now, in case it's going to come back off for one reason or another. There we go. Unfortunately, that's as far as I can go today. I'm probably going to leave... Crap. There's like zero room. I can't even get an air cleaner in this thing, I don't think. This is bad. This is very bad. I don't even know if I can close the hood. Egads Watson. I can gain a 1/4 inch if I take the nitrous plate out. Never knew how low profile this was going to be. How close is this stuff to the hood, for crying out loud? We'll have to do some measuring. I think we're okay with the carburetor, but I don't know if I try to put an air cleaner, if that's going to be okay. Egads, Watson. Well, I'm a little disappointed. I really wanted to get this thing running today. Not going to happen. And I seem to have found some other problems, like sitting too high. That carburetor's way up there, and I've got one of those absolutely horrible wire basket looking things with the foam in them sitting on it for the moment, because I don't see getting an air cleaner under this. I do plan on retrofitting the original air cleaner on it, and that may be the only recourse that I have, because it'll fit down over the top of it. I'm not sure. I've still got a bunch of hurdles that not really sure how I'm going to solve them just yet. So I do apologize for not getting this thing running today. I probably, if I hadn't been out of time, I probably could get it running in another hour. Running. But then all the bugs of like closing the hood would be a problem. And maybe. I'm thinking it's going to be a problem. I could be wrong. I can get one of those swoopy down type air cleaners, or I can go ahead and retro that other one. And since I'm going to have to make a completely other video before we get this thing running, I may just go ahead and retro that other air cleaner, because I can come off the top of this thing with only very, very little. I still have to get a different style base. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. We're just going to have to figure it out as we go. I'd love to just get it running, but I know it's going to run. Whether or not all the electronic junk inside is going to work, well, that's a whole other problem. We still got to put radiator hoses on it. I did get a heater hose on it while you weren't looking. That's what you get for turning your head. Just kidding. Got the nitrous plate on there, but I may end up having to thwart that effort. That was the whole purpose of swapping over, was to put nitrous on it. And now it's looking like that may not be doable. Crap. We'll see what we can get to happen. Dadgummit. Don't know. I'm going to have to do some measuring. And I don't know how I'm going to measure under the hood. Carburetor sitting just a tad over the top of the power steering reservoir and the BS pump. And that would be the highest things, and those are way up front where the hood slopes down as well. It does stick up quite a bit. I don't know. We'll find out. We're going to find out. I know the other air cleaner used to fit flush with the cowl. This is way above the cowl. So it's not looking promising. Anyway, rather than sit here and fret, I got to end the video. I'm sorry. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next fiasco. I don't know. Maybe my choice of Quadrajet is going to have to go. Hate that. I love Quadrajets. But I might have to get something lower profile. Yeah, Holly will drop me a little bit. Poop! I just say poop! Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, it'll tell you when the next video comes out. Gosh, I'm so disappointed. You ever been disappointed? I'm disappointed. I knew that was going to be a factor. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. Make me feel a little better. See you next time.